On today's episode, we discuss the UFC and CJI possibly pairing up and how that could change the world of jiu-jitsu as we know it.
How jiu-jitsu teams change the landscape of the sport forever.
We dive into PANS 2025 and a possible black belt lockout.
Hold on. Leave the titties alone. They look great.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the pod. My name is Kenny. I'm here with Matt, Mr. Oast Nation himself. Happy 41st birthday.
Oh, don't say it, Kenny. God.
Did it make your knees hurt when I said that?
No, my knees been hurting, but like it came quick, dude. 41 came quick. Like this mic, you know, things are just not staying up like they used to. It's rough out here. You get kind of like, as you get older, just like you get pictures of your life that just kind of flash. Like I remember my 21st birthday. I remember like certain birthdays, you know what I mean?
Right.
41, not really what 40 I remembered, you know, but, yeah, man, it's crazy. Like this year just flew by. I feel like we just had a podcast one yesterday,
dude,
and here we are.
I know. 78,
dude. I'll beat 78 tomorrow, dude. That's how I feel. It's like it's going quick. But you know, went to Hemet, went to my hometown yesterday, visited my mom, and saw some tweakers dancing and stuff. It was cool, dude. It was like Hemet is like Fremont Street with no casinos, dude.
That is so
it's
accurate.
how it is.
That is so
It
accurate.
is, dude. It really is. But the sushi joint down there is very good. So
yeah,
it's like better than the sushi that I haven't found sushi as good as down there here, which is insane that Temecula and Marietta can't. I don't know. I mean,
I feel you with that. We've actually talked about this a couple of times, me, you, and Nate in our little group chat about how I feel like there's some okay spots around here, but there's nothing that's just like, damn, that's the go-to. There's no, you know, like most towns will have like, there's the expensive sushi spot, but it's worth it. You know what I mean? Where it's just like, man, like, do I really want to spend $20 a roll right now and go drop like, $100 to $150 on dinner with my wife and I for sushi? And then you're like, for this spot, yeah, I do want to go do that. You know what I mean?
it was like $150 last night with tip. Yeah. And I got like 3 rolls. Wife got like 2 rolls. Kid got 2 rolls. Mom got chicken for a lot of stuff with like edamame. A lot of stuff for $150. Right. Like Hemet, you know, you're gonna get Hemet prices, baby. That's the perk about it. Now is it a C rating? Who knows? But it was good, dude. It was good.
Does your mom not eat sushi?
No.
Same.
She eats it. Yeah.
Oh, she does? Oh, okay. Yeah, my mom won't. My mom and my stepdad won't. The idea of raw fish freaks them out. I'm like, it's so
I was
good.
the same before I met my wife, and then I, started off like everybody does with the California roll.
Mm-hmm.
I used to always get like the hot chicken plates and stuff, and chicken and rice. And then now, dude, I fuck with sushi hard.
Yeah, I agree. I'm the same. My first sushi experience, I think I was like maybe 22 or 23, and I went with my little brother. And I was like kind of scared, and I was just like, hey, man, I trust you. And he's looking at me like, what?
It's like getting a lady in Thailand. Like you're just hoping it's like, or an extra tug at a massage parlor. You're like, I hope it's not a cop, dude. I'm trusting you right now. No, this is legit. Yeah, I don't know how to use chopsticks though.
Really?
And here's my philosophy on that is I use the cheaters. The ladies all laugh at me. And they fucking laugh. And I put my cheaters on because, we've evolved to the fork. You know what I'm saying? Just like kids nowadays don't know how to drive a manual transmission. Are you expecting like, I'm not one of those dads and be like, no, son, you need to learn how to drive a stick. When there literally is no stick vehicles anymore. We have the fork now. So I will use either my hands or the cheaters.
You're like, we don't need to learn.
I'm not teaching myself skills I don't really need.
Okay, that's fair. I didn't know that using chopsticks was a life skill that it's going to take some.
It's not. Exactly. It's not, Kenny. Why do I have to learn? Corinne's like, just put your here, put your finger here. Yeah. She has me throwing up like fucking. I'm like, we're in Hemet right now, and you're just. I'm like, we're going to get shot.
Yeah.
Telling me how to hold my hands. Like, you can't be throwing up those kind of gang signs over here.
So we've had some jiu-jitsu news this week. It's weird. Like we've talked about this before, I think a couple of weeks ago, like how there just isn't a lot going on in the jiu-jitsu news space right now. There's a lot of smaller kind of like, who's number one style tournaments or fight to wins, things like that. But there's nothing like the big boys, the ADCCs, the CGIs, like it's not time for that yet. So we're not really getting a lot of news right now. I think we got so barraged with the CJI 1 news when that all popped off because it was like new tournament, Craig Jones, sensationalism, this crazy like taking on ADCC same weekend, that kind of a thing that like we were just getting battered with just nonstop crazy news. Then we had the Andrew Wiltsey drama, which was just wild.
Well, I mean, were we though, Kenny? Were we, or were we just so excited? We did not know what was coming next, but now that we know, like
that's what I'm saying.
We're 4 years old now, and we've already experienced Christmas, so we know what to expect. So now we're just kind of like Christmas morning excited, like Christmas Eve, like we're like, oh, it's coming. It's getting when we didn't know what to expect. We were just kind of like, oh, all right. And it was all the Gordon. There was more Gordon Craig drama, and that's kind of chilled a little bit.
They're smart, I think, in switching the format up of the tournament because it does kind of renew all of the like unknown for CJI. You know what I mean? Like we don't know how the team format's going to work exactly. Like it's all speculation right now. But we did get some news this week in regards to CJI, specifically in regards to some of the teams. So Craig announced that there is what are they calling it? The Australasia team. So they're just combining those continents. And it's going to be led by Lachlan Giles. So he's going to be the head coach. And he's picking a team, obviously, out of that region for his team. So one of the things that Craig said is they had originally announced the Misfits team, which was just going to be a team made up of a bunch of random jiu-jitsu phenoms that maybe don't come from a large academy or affiliation. Mm-hmm. So they don't belong to an Atos, they don't belong to a Checkmat, a Gracie Baja, etc. So let's build a team of these like phenoms that are from these different schools that don't, that aren't a part of like a large organization. Then he said, well, am I going to do multiple Misfits teams? Because there's kind of a lot of guys like that. Or do I do one Misfits team and then I allow essentially like a pool of guys that if, like, let's say Lachlan Giles is building this Australasia team and he only has like 4 dudes that he can like, because he got to fulfill weight classes. Right. So he's like, man, I don't have a big guy. What do I do? So they allow him to kind of pick from this group of misfits to fill his team in. So he can find somebody that's going to mesh with the rest of his team that fits the weight class that he needs to fill.
That makes sense.
So,
I mean, you want to fill the teams. You want to give everybody their fair shot at winning.
Right.
You want to feel like you have a shot. Like there's going to be some teams out there like, dude, we don't have a shot. Like what?
And he said there was something about it too, where they were going to, I can't remember the specifics, but there's something that they're doing. Maybe it's the affiliation. Yeah, I think that's what it is, because it is kind of an affiliation thing and they're allowing you to fill in here and there. You can't just go build your super team of athletes. You know what I mean? You couldn't like, let's just say there was no bad blood anywhere. You couldn't be like, I'm going to grab Gordon Ryan. I'm going to grab, Andy Varela. I'm going to grab, just from, you couldn't just like assemble the Avengers of Jiu-Jitsu.
If they're already aligned with another team.
Correct.
Well, I don't think loyalty is dead in jiu-jitsu, first off. And I think that these guys, these mega stars in the space are not going to want to, if they know Checkmat has a team, You're not going to get them to join a super team. What if but here's the dilemma. What if, say, Lucas or Leo picks, we're just using Checkmate example. Okay. They pick their team. They got their guys. And then all of a sudden there are still good, big academy. There's still some great guys on the squad that didn't get chose.
Yeah.
What if one of these misfit teams like, hey, you want to be on our team?
Right.
It's going to put the athlete in a predicament. Like, am I going to choose, would I leave the Checkmate banner and that's my squad and go fight? Like, say like Jensen Gomes doesn't get picked. And then all of a sudden the misfit team's like, hey, you want to roll with us? Like, will he go against his own team? I don't know. There's more drama and there's more content for us.
Right. Yeah. I think they're smart in peppering little bits of information about it because it opens up these types of conversations where we're just kind of allowed to speculate and we get kind of excited about all the different possibilities, but we're not confined by the box of too much information. You know what I mean? So, right. and that could also be by design. Maybe they are doing that with the intention of seeing what the community feedback is, the things that people post online, and then cherry picking ideas out of that. So could be a lot of things. Could be, and it could be nothing. So
Giles is a good coach, regardless.
Yeah.
I think that's the right call for that's the right call there.
Australia,
for sure.
Yeah.
I think it's the right call and head coach.
Yeah, it's excited. I'm curious how many teams they're going to have, though.
Well, I'm assuming it would be like just like the tournament, right? It would be like a 16 team.
Yeah.
Are there 16 teams though, or are they going to do like an 8, like an elite 8?
Okay. So let's say we have
Checkmate, Gracie Baja, 10th Planet,
New Wave,
Autos, New Wave, B Team,
Misfits,
the Misfit Team,
Australasia. There's probably going to be some sort of an Eastern European
GF team, maybe GF team. There could be.
Didn't they say they were given Pedigo? Yeah,
Pedigo. Yeah, he said Pedigo. That's 10.
Yeah.
So you'd need what, 6 more?
Yeah.
I think they could do it.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So we're
UFC gym. You get just a bunch of MMA guys.
Yeah, that would be kind of cool too. You know what I mean? The guys that are
MMA, like the Apex, their team, Apex, like a bunch of UFC fighters. That'd be cool.
They
could figure it out. They could figure it out for sure.
Yeah. Fight sports.
Fight sports for sure. Fight sports. Yeah. Cyborg have a team out there. There's we just need 4 more.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah, I think
it's be 16. That's probably.
It's very.
And then it looks like they're going to do 2 women's teams or something like that, and just have like a bit kind of like a for all the marbles, women's team versus women's team. One led by Helena, one led by Fionn Davies.
Fionn. I'm glad I remember her name now. Pan, speaking of Helena, she had a pretty good little run at Pans yesterday.
Yeah. It's good to see that she is good in the gi too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, she does both. It's always a big deal. Like, that's how you know you've made it in the sport, because all the cameras are on her.
Yeah.
And the Autos girl got her. But still, I mean, she's still very young. She's still.
Helena lost?
Huh?
Helena lost?
Helena lost. She lost in the semis, I think. She won one, and then she ended up losing to an Autos girl.
Got it.
She had Lasso win, and then she ended up getting it passed, and no subs, but like she ended up losing. But it was very, very, very entertaining fight. Like,
yeah.
She gets a lot of. I can see a lot of the females, they get up when they fight her because maybe they don't think that she deserves her just due. Or they just don't believe in the smoke, or maybe they want to test the smoke, right? But like there's I don't know what it is. Like, she has that like early Gordon Ryan mystique about her, and maybe it's because of the Danaher thing.
Yeah,
where everybody's like, "It's just this. She ain't the truth."
Yeah,
when he was like doing the crown stuff, like she ain't what she says she is. I'll show her. And so there's a lot of the people, a lot of athletes, a lot of these ladies are like really like wanting to like prove her wrong. And a lot of times she proves herself right, but it's still great for women's jiu-jitsu. I think she's definitely a top 3, top 4 person to build a woman's brand around for jiu-jitsu.
For sure.
Just because of that everybody wants to see her lose thing.
Yeah.
Especially I don't care if she wins or loses as a man, but I know the ladies that train jiu-jitsu that aren't like on her team want to see her lose. Yeah. That's the vibe I get.
Yeah, no, I could see that. I think it's good. I think it's good for the sport. I think it's good for women's jiu-jitsu as a whole. I think that she's probably, when it comes to names in general, they quickly built a hype around her. Maybe that is due in part to Gordon. You know what I mean? Maybe he's like, hey, man, I know the formula.
And she can go by one name.
Right.
That's hard to, like, I don't even know her last name.
Cravar, I think.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah. That you just said it. But like, I really like, you just say the one word, you know who it is. It's like you say Fionn. Yeah. You say Mackenzie.
Right.
Like those girls have made it in the sport.
Right. Yeah, that makes absolute sense.
Another athlete in the sport, Claudia Gadelia.
Yeah.
I don't think she's fighting anymore at UFC, but she came out and was like,
she works.
She said the reason why jiu-jitsu is not becoming recognized as a professional sport is because all the greats are still competing as amateurs, and they're fighting for glory and they're fighting for medals. And there's nothing wrong with that, because it does build your name and it does help you with seminars and it does help you establish yourself as that upper tier person. But you're not going to get paid because you're competing as an amateur. And basically, she didn't say this, but I'm assuming she's just thinking that if all the black belts just said, you know, we're not going to compete until we get paid, and just like left PANS or left like IBJJF as just like an amateur event and no black belt signed up, or maybe just masters only, but the adult division just said, nah.
Right.
It would change. It would force the hand for these bigger organizations who are throwing these crazy tournaments, whether it's ADCC or whatever, to like, hey, we got to pay these guys. They've earned it. They dedicated their life to this, and their value is worth more than just a medal. So I think she kind of onto something there. I think that might work if everybody just sat out and said, not doing it this year until we get paid next year.
They would have to unify though, because you've got to make sure that they were. I hesitate to say what I'm about to say, but there would have to be consequences for people who stepped over the line. Does that make sense?
You become like a scab, like a jiu-jitsu scab.
Yeah, you're the black sheep of the jiu-jitsu community. Like, you knew that we were all setting out to make this happen, and you decided that you were, this is my shot at winning a gold. Let me go.
This is my world title shot.
Yeah.
You'd have to be blackballed. But I do think that would help, because I know especially IBJJF, they've got the money.
Yeah,
they've got the money to pay the adult black belts.
Right.
Each podium could get paid. You know, their first place at every division could get $20K, bro. And I think that IBJJF,
are they getting paid for that Triple Crown thing?
I have no idea how the pay works. I don't know. They'll test you. They will steroid test you and suspend you for a year, but they won't pay you. Like, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Something needs to happen, because I think she's onto something there. So I butchered her last name, Claudia Gadelia. Yeah. Okay.
And then you were saying something about Dana coming out saying he's going to make a big investment into the jiu-jitsu space.
Yeah, Dana White came out and said he's going to invest $10 to $12 million this year into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, which is basically, is it going to go to the fighters? Probably not. Are the fighters going to get paid? Most likely they'll get paid better than what some of these pros are making now in these tournaments. But it's probably going to go all into like media and social media advertising and pushing it. So I'm sure you're seeing guys like Craig Jones and getting their cameos in UFC events and stuff like that. It's because he's starting to like wanting to push that. So
yeah, smart. Take the characters that are already existing that are the big personalities and make them something in your existing media space.
You think if UFC bought into CJI as a partner, I mean, you definitely would get like T-Mobile Arena, you get good events, you could get good events. Do you think if UFC backed up the money and helped invest with CJI that they could make a good event?
Okay, so yes. So here's what I think. This is just a hypothetical. This is a best case scenario in my opinion. They take the 10 to 12 million. They invested in the CJI event. The money for the fighters is already there, right?
Oh, they take the whole money into the CJI event.
Yes. So
okay.
They use that $12 million budget does all the things that we said a year ago jiu-jitsu needs to grow. They do the UFC embedded on all these teams. They build a backstory. They tell us the story of Checkmat. They tell us the story of Atos. They tell us the story of Pedigo, this small gym full of crazy misfits that blew up during the COVID era. They tell us the story of New Wave and B Team and the drama. And they build these teams and they build these athletes into personalities. It's the thing that we've said that they've needed to do for jiu-jitsu, that somebody has to do it. And I think that Brandon McCaffrey is doing it with his grapplers documentaries that he's releasing and whatnot. And I think they're doing a good job of that. I think the biggest hurdle there is Brandon McCaffrey doesn't have the media team, meaning editors, cameramen, etc. That the
UFC
army,
has them on staff.
Yes. They have an army of them. You know what I mean? So it's like they can film embedded content today and have tomorrow an episode up because they have a staff of editors that are literally the way these new cameras work, Matt. I can be on location filming. My camera will be uploading the footage to the cloud instantaneously. By the time I'm done wrapping up and putting my camera in the bag, all of my footage is already uploaded and at the editor's desk being worked on. So like,
wow.
Yeah. Like they can really work on this shit damn near real time and start chopping up things like, oh, this is good segment here, or this is good, or let's cut this dead space out, all that stuff, and literally start working on the edit while it's still being filmed. Wild shit. So yeah, the UFC, if they were to take that money, invest it into CGI, again, nobody's saying that this is what's happening, but this is what I would say a best case scenario is, and they put the UFC media machine behind the CJI event, and they build these teams up. You're building up the sport of jiu-jitsu. You're building up the CJI. You're now weaving UFC into the fabric of what is going to be this explosive jiu-jitsu space, and you're now building highlight profiles on all of these major athletes that are going to be a part of this tournament, all of these major teams. How we were talking about team sports and creating teams already exist. You know what I mean? We already have them in the in the jiu-jitsu space. So how about if we just made them legitimate sports teams? You know what I mean? Yeah.
Have like, hey, you have been selected as the pros of this team, and you're on budget. You're on payroll.
Yeah, you just got called up to the majors. You're part of fucking pro team Checkmat now. You know what I mean? Like
Team Checkmat UFC.
Yeah. And then you've got the brand deals between the team owners and companies. So you know how a football, the Dallas Cowboys may be, okay, our sponsorship is Nike. They're going to make our jerseys. They're going to make our shoes. They're going to make our gloves, etc. Now you've got Level Black steps in. We're going to make the kits for Team Checkmat. We're going to make the no-gi kits. We're going to make the gi kits. Like we're going to make all the merch. Everything's going to be, Checkmat, Level Black logo on everything, like in a little corner and whatnot. So now you've got these fucking jiu-jitsu brands that are tying themselves to the teams that's going to blow the brands up. It's going to blow the teams up. It's going to blow the athletes up. It's going to blow the sport up. And it's all from an investment that the UFC made in helping to build these characters. And then once they see the payoff of it, because jiu-jitsu would, in my opinion, explode at that point. The way we kind of saw I think that CJI has the potential to be the catalyst that the Ultimate Fighter was to MMA. And the fact that it is on YouTube and it's not behind a paywall. It doesn't have to be on Spike TV. It's on YouTube. YouTube didn't exist back in the Spike TV days. So we have something where we can put out an unfiltered content. You know what I mean? Like where I don't have to worry about silencing, fucks and shits and things like that. Because it's YouTube, it's the Wild West, and I can go a little wild with it and make this production wild, and I don't have to worry about a knee bar snapping somebody's knee and like, oh, we got to edit that out. You know what I mean? Like that's too violent. Like no. This is the time and the place to do this. So there could be some phenomenal potential here.
The difference between MMA and jiu-jitsu when it comes to more people like to watch MMA. Okay. And that's still been the whole thing about jiu-jitsu is like, can we make the regular person who's just drinking with his boys at the house want to watch this thing? More people want to watch people get knocked out and clicked off, for sure. But UFC started these fight kits. Nobody wants to buy a fight kit, okay?
Right.
No one's buying those. But people in jiu-jitsu love jiu-jitsu shirts, and people in jiu-jitsu love the team that they train for because they train for that team.
Right.
People, white belts love to wear their Gracie Baja plain ass fucking basic shirt because they train for Gracie Baja. Hoo hoo ha ha. They train there, and the freaking and everybody wants to wear their checkmat gear because hey, that's the team I fight for. Like. Right. Like you said, the teams are already made. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. They're already made. The line in the sands have already been drawn. We've been drawing them in since the 90s. The teams are ready.
Right. Yeah.
So it's like
the branding
you
is
just
done.
gotta.
You know what I mean, like
the branding is done. You're exactly right on that. And you
the
just
allegiance
got to.
is there.
We just need money to make them official.
What professional sports have that jiu-jitsu doesn't is the casuals and the people that like, there are people that are diehard Dallas Cowboys fans. There are people that are diehard fucking Cleveland Browns fans. You know what I mean? Like there are people that have never played a down of football in their life that are just like, insane about their sports team. And you could get that with Checkmat, but you already have a ton of those people. So the parents that don't train, that have children that train, you know what I mean? Like that's going to be their team. The people that already train on it, that's going to be their team. And then there's the idea that I have the potential to train at this Checkmat gym. I may make the pro team someday. You know what I mean? Like you're let's say we'll use Valentino as an example. He's a 7-year-old, 8-year-old kid, trains under he's Poncho's like young protege child right now.
Wins a lot.
Yes, wins a lot. Valentino could potentially, if this, the way we're speculating right now, if this were to happen, Valentino could absolutely be homegrown talent that makes it to the professional Checkmat team someday. And we see that build up from his time as a child in the gym that Matt, trains and teaches at, all the way to HQ. You know what I mean? Where it's just like,
hopefully Valentino, hopefully that's after your full D1 ride via wrestling to a college and you get a good education. And then when you graduate at 22, 23, you come back and you join the Checkmat pro team when you have this crazy wrestling pedigree also. And then you're just off to the races, dude. But yeah, I agree. Like, and you like geographically, you'd be like, oh, I'm born in Texas, so I'm automatically a Cowboys fan. And I'm born in California, so I'm automatically a Raiders or Niners fan. That you're not going to get that, obviously, because the schools are spread out worldwide.
Right.
But it's the same thing. You're like, oh, no, my family does Checkmat. We don't train. You would get more people be like, no, we'll never train Gracie Baja. We're Checkmat fans.
Right.
Like, that's it. You know what I mean? Like,
well, not to mention that too, like you just mentioned, these are worldwide organizations. It's like this is Jiu-jitsu is a global sport. No, there aren't other countries really, other than like Canada, that are playing United States National Football League football. You know what I mean? There's a Canadian Football League. It's like, it's a variation of American football.
Lingerie Football League. Hell yes.
But, they're the sports that are big in this country really aren't big in other countries. Yeah, baseball, kind of, but not the same. Like, you want to play baseball professionally, you go to the USA. You want to play football professionally, you go to the USA. Rugby, don't go to the USA. Nobody gives a shit here. Soccer, don't go play in Europe. Nobody gives a shit here. You know what I mean? Like but jiu-jitsu is everywhere. And the people that are in jiu-jitsu love jiu-jitsu. And like there is no other sport. I know people that do jiu-jitsu that don't give a shit about MMA. It's not for them. All they care about is jiu-jitsu. You know what I mean?
It's it's one of those sports, like when you try it, you just love it. It's like one of those addicting sports, kind of like how people are obsessed with pickleball right now.
Yeah.
I've never played pickleball. I don't feel I'm old enough, but I heard it's fun. I know people who love it, dude. They fucking rave about it.
I don't know your whole dating record, but I've never heard you talk about dating a man, so I don't see why you would play pickleball.
Touche, my man. Yeah. I ain't done it in 41 years. I ain't gonna do it now.
Because Matt's not gay.
Not gay.
We've got some questions, but we also there's a topic that somebody brought up to us, and I kind of wanted to. It's less of a question; it's more of a topic. So, this is from Delo_1551. He said, "Topic or question?"
Fucking D'Lo Brown, dude. Fucking WWE, dude.
So many middle-aged recreational BJJ practitioners taking TRT now. Not sure if it's really needed in your mid-30s. Now everyone in the gym is stacked to the gills. Do I join or stay strong? My test levels are at 700. I don't think it's necessary. My training partner whooped my ass in front of my daughter the other day. Shit's getting disrespectful in local gyms in Massachusetts.
Hey, stay. Don't do it, bro.
Yeah.
Just get your technique back. If you're having 700, you don't need it.
No. Yeah.
I take it because I was at 150.
Yeah.
And I'm like, there's a real problem here. So yeah, maybe your buddies are like at 1200, 1300, and you're at 700. 700 is enough to beat a 1300. You just got to get them skills a little sharper. But yeah, no, I wouldn't take it. If I had my levels were 1700, if my boys were still producing, I would still let my boys. Dude,
700
produce.
Is something to be. If you're 700 natural, that's your body, your endocrine system is doing its fucking job. So do not disturb that, because once you go TRT, your endocrine system will not be doing what it's currently doing. If you get off, you will crash. You will not end up back at 700, and then you're now tied to TRT for the rest of your life. People like Matt and I that were under 200, our endocrine systems are trash as is. They aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing. We are on TRT because we absolutely need to be on TRT. We are literally adding the hormones back into our body that should be there that are no longer there. And it's like a medical legit thing. I get that other people are abusing it and probably jumping on those telehealth programs like Hone, et cetera. That's up to you whether you want to play that or not. Personally, I wouldn't.
There are natural things you can take, like Clomid, I believe, and there's other stuff that you can take naturally that won't affect you if you wanted to like jump your levels a little bit and not really like deplete your boys. You know what I'm saying? So maybe look into more of a natural route. I would not do TRT unless you have to. I would have never done it if my levels weren't low. Kenny and I are both proponents of TRT, but for health reasons only, for doing it the right way, just to be normal. I do it enough so that I can make it to class. I'm not doing it to win at class. I'm doing it to be able to train tomorrow. That's why I take it.
Same. Now we got some topics, or we got some questions, I should say. The questions are getting a little better. I like them. They're fun. So Buckaroo Blake says, like racing stripes on cars add 10 horsepower. Do tattoos improve your BJJ? No. No. I think it depends.
Yeah, you would know. Kenny.
Yeah. Hey,
Kenny,
check this
you
out.
would know.
If you put racing stripes on a Civic, it's still a Civic. Put racing stripes on a Ferrari, it's a Ferrari. You put tattoos on my body, it's not getting any better. You throw tattoos on, but you sleeve out Buchecha, we're talking a whole different story here.
Yeah, I would say that tattoos. What perks do tattoos give you, Kenny? They give you a younger girl. You know what I mean? But it also eliminates a certain girl.
Yeah. So
you know what I mean?
I would say like, from a non-jiu-jitsu standpoint, this is what tattoos did. I was a relatively shy individual in my teens and early adulthood. After getting tattoos, people approached me. Not always the best people, not always the people you wanted to approach you, but people would approach you. And they do the annoying, every heavily tattooed person knows the annoying thing where a random person comes up to you at the bar. If you're a girl, it could be a guy. If you're a guy, it could be a girl, whatever. And they'll grab your arm and they'll start to turn it and look at it like they're looking at your tattoos.
This Kimura.
Yeah.
This Kimura.
First of all, stop touching me, stranger. Like, that's fucking weird. I don't walk up to non-tattooed people and touch them like that. It's fucking weird. Don't do that. But motherfuckers will do that. That's happened more times than I can count. So, it can be beneficial if you're really looking for that kind of attention. The older I've gotten, the more I cover up. Not like with the intention, I don't want to show my tattoo. There's no shame there or anything like that. A lot of people, when they first get tattoos, they really want to show them off. So if they're getting a sleeve, they'll wear a lot of tank tops. You know what I mean? Like, I want people to know that I have a sleeve, kind of a thing. The older, once you've had them for 10 plus years, you don't give a shit about the attention anymore. It's a lot of long sleeve shirts, a lot of hoodies, a lot of flannels, things like that, because I don't necessarily want the attention. I have them. I like them. I like the way I look with them. I like the way I look naked. My wife has a bunch of tattoos.
That's good, Kenny.
Yeah.
I'm glad you like the way you look naked, dude. That is important at 43 years old.
But I like looking at my wife's tattoos. I like, but it again, my wife has so many tattoos. I've never like sat there and like looked at every individual one. I couldn't tell you.
Are there any spots on this could.
Yes, I already know where this question is going.
And yes, edit this out.
No, we're not editing. We're leaving it in.
Are there any spots on a female that you don't like tattooed?
Red flags? Yeah. The boobs, like a chest piece. I'm all for the neck. I'm all for the back. I'm all for the arms, the shoulders, the legs, the stomach, everything. This area right here is like a general no.
Leave the titties.
Yeah.
Alone.
Yeah. I agree. I'm not like into like some girls have like the spider for me. That's probably it for me.
Was it Bonnie or Broughton or whatever her name is? Remember
Jesse James's wife. They
had all those tattoos, like the spider webs on her tits. I'm like, what do you do that for?
Yeah. Well,
I get.
She also does porn for a living, so.
Yeah, she does. I don't know how. I just know her as Jesse James' wife, bro. I don't know. Oh, she does? Oh, didn't know. No idea. But I agree. Tattoos are cool. I like tattoos, and I like girls without tattoos. I just like girls. What else?
Matt Enforcer Soap, if you had to write a book about your jiu-jitsu journey, where would it begin and where would it end?
If I had to write a book about my jiu-jitsu journey, where would it would probably begin, it would begin in my living room with my grandfather, who was passing away at the time. And I was kind of like out of sports and helping him. And he was on hospice and didn't know what I wanted to do. And then my cousin was like, we were watching some like UFC on TV. And my cousin's like, you should try that. And I just kind of walked into it. I was like, all right, I'll give it a shot. And I just walked into some random martial arts gym. And then it was not what I wanted. And then some guy's like, were you looking for MMA? And I'm all, yeah. He's like, okay, you need to go meet this guy and this guy. And then it like,
it's like a drug deal.
Like, I went up going to, I'm like, oh yeah. And I went up going to like some little garage. And these guys like pretty much beat the shit out of me for a day. And I came back the second day. And then that's how I started on my first fight team. And then, so that was kind of how it would start. How it would end would be, it would probably end maybe giving one of my children a black belt would be a cool way to end it.
That would be fucking rad.
I think that'd be a cool way, like putting my black belt, my gray one that's like all striped out. It's almost white again, barely hanging on. I get to tie that around my daughter, tie that around my son. I think that'd be a pretty cool way to end my story.
Yeah.
What about you, Kenny? Go.
I would say mine would start with the seed. I was always into martial arts as a kid. Same with Matt. I didn't hold on to it until my adult years. I loved Van Damme movies. I loved Steven Seagal movies. I loved Bruce Lee movies. Martial arts movies were like the thing when I was a kid. For Halloween, when I was like kindergarten through third grade, I was a ninja every year. Every year, I was a fucking ninja. I loved that idea. I started Taekwondo when I was in like 6th grade. And I did it through 9th grade. So 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th grade. And during that time, that's right around the time my mom met my stepdad. Stepdad was a college wrestler. That's when UFC first came out. So UFC, I think it was on UFC 3 when my mom and stepdad got together. And he had already watched the first 2. And he's like, we got to watch this. And I remember sitting down on the couch watching UFC on a black box with my stepdad. And him just telling me the whole time, this is real fighting. This is real fighting. This is where you're going to see where it's at. You know what I mean? Like, and MMA wasn't a term back then for us old folks. It was literally, it's going to be boxer versus a wrestler. Fighting. Yeah. It's a boxer versus a wrestler. It's a karate guy versus a jiu-jitsu guy. And it's just like, we're going to see what the best martial art is. It was a sales piece for jiu-jitsu. That was the whole premise of why the UFC was started. And it worked. But that was my first exposure to jiu-jitsu. And I even remember my stepdad saying like, you know, hey, he's in a karate uniform is what he called it. But he's just like, that's grappling. Like this is just wrestling, just kind of different. You know what I mean? And I'm like, oh, okay. So my story would start with that. Just like I had a love for martial arts and my stepdad and I bonded over this love for martial arts. His just came from in a different form, which was wrestling. And he always said like, wrestling's not considered a martial art, but it should be. And I agree with him now. You know what I mean? Like, absolutely. It should be. Yeah. For sure. It's, you know, probably one of the more primal forms of fighting, you know, just think about when you're a little kid, like you're not boxing when you're like 6 years old. You're not boxing your little brother. You know what I mean? Like you guys are wrestling on the ground, you know, trying to fucking get on top and punch him kind of a thing. You're wrestling. Like it's the most primal form of like fighting that we know as humans. So, that's where my story would start. Where it would end, man, I don't know. I romanticize the idea of,
well, obviously you want to have your own world champion one day. Yeah.
But I don't know that it ends there. Like, I don't know that I got into it young enough to ever reach the level of coral belt. I know Matt has mentioned in the past that that's an absolute goal of his. He wants to hit coral belt someday. And I think age-wise, it does land in his cards. But he's also got like a 15-year head start ahead of me. I don't know that I physically make it that long in jiu-jitsu space. But I think, getting to a second-degree black belt, at least to where I'm able to promote a black belt and build a world champion, or a team of world champions, something like that. I think that would be cool. My goals have shifted because there was always the idea that, you know, I had a more nomadic approach to what life was going to be. You know, I thought the wife and I were going to be moving to Texas. That is turning out to not be the case. I think we may be planning some roots in California. And
hell yeah.
I think that means that I'm going to be team checkmat. And I think I was always hesitant to kind of like try to fly that checkmat banner, even though that's the school I trained under for the last couple of years, because I was always fearful that like, well, what if I move to a place? I can't like be all in checkmat and then move to a place where there's not a checkmat. And now I got to be some other organization. Like, I don't want to be that guy. And I felt like I kind of did that with, you know, 10 Planet. Like, you know, when I first started jiu-jitsu, it was like 10P for life. You know, I was that guy. For sure, I was that guy. And then 10 months later, it wasn't that. I was checkmat.
Yeah.
So then I've always just been kind of hesitant to kind of like do that. But now knowing that I'm probably going to be getting my black belt under the checkmat banner. Like that's the likelihood of it if I stay in the sport. You know, I'm excited to like be a part of that team and to represent that. So, I'm not saying checkmat's the end all be all to all jiu-jitsu problems. I think there's a lot of phenomenal teams out there, but I think checkmat has something really special. I think Leo has done something really great and built a really special team. And I think that the proof in that is all of, I would say, the generals that are under Leo. You know what I mean? You look at the Lucas Leite, you look at Poncho, you look at Hobinho, like these black belts that are flying the checkmat banner under Leo are all phenomenal men. And to be a part of that lineage and to be a part of that team, and to get to know those people, the longer I'm in it, the more I kind of talk to them on Instagram and whatnot. Like they're inspirational people in general, not just from a jiu-jitsu standpoint. So I think my journey ends with me opening some sort of a, not opening, but like running some sort of a checkmat affiliation and passing that either down to my child or, you know, when I retire, a student that's under me that has, you know, become my, you know,
protege type.
Yeah. Protege. So,
I mean, I have selfish goals, but they're just my selfish goals. And I want to be a household name in jiu-jitsu. That I want people just to be able to say my name and everybody in the sport know who I am. That's kind of what I'm trying to do. You know, I want people and so selfishly, that's what I want. But like I said, ideally putting a black belt on my kid would be so cool. When I'm watching her train, it's like so different. It's like the coolest thing ever. But like selfishly, I would like to be known as like Pat McAfee or a name like that, like in the jiu-jitsu space, someone who's just like, you know, whether it's media or whether it's like just a name in the sport. You know, I know I'm too old and didn't have maybe the elite skill to become a world-class jiu-jitsu guy because I started way too late. But to be known in the space was something that that's definitely a goal of mine, to be known in the space as like a household name.
Yeah. It could absolutely happen, my man.
We're working on it. We're working on it over here.
We're getting there.
And that comes with us too. Like you're going to be a household name too. Because you know what? Kenny's coming with me. That's where we're going together, dude.
This is from Body Like a Glow Stick. This is my boy Cody. Would you rather be a pirate, a cowboy, or a ninja?
Well, we know Kenny wants to be a ninja. Yeah. He was it for 7 fucking Halloweens. What kind of ninja, dude?
All black ninja. I'm not trying to be fucking the weird fucking. Here's the thing. This is the wild.
No Storm Shadow. You're a Snake Eyes guy, huh?
I'm a Snake Eyes
Storm
guy,
Shadow
through and through. When I was this ninja costume, it was like a cheap like Halloween.
I was a Storm
store.
Shadow. I'm a Storm Shadow guy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
A little snow ninja.
Snow ninja, dude.
It was like a Halloween store ninja costume. And for sure, the first year I bought it in kindergarten, maybe it was a little big. In first grade, it definitely fit. Second and third grade for sure did not fit anymore, but I was still rocking that shit. And I remember like getting like a black belt magazine or something like that. And you could buy like legit ninjutsu costumes with like the legit ninja uniform with the ninja shoes with the split toe.
The sai swords.
Yeah.
The sai knives. Yeah,
and I'm just like, dude, I want all, and like all this stuff. I remember like as a child being like, I want this. I want a real ninja uniform. I want the claws that they put on their boots so they can climb a tree. Like fucking, you know, I'm 7. Like why now as an adult, why the fuck do I need that? But, yeah, like I used to like read like magazines, catalogs, and like look at legit ninja uniforms. I really wanted to be a ninja.
Yeah, to me, definitely not a cowboy, even though I love lasso. Not a cowboy. Because we have a lot of cowboys here. We have a lot of fake cowboys where we live. There's a lot of fucking poser ass cowboys here. And our area of the woods, and I'm not that, even though I did have a Spitfire's wheel shirt when I was in high school and I didn't know how to skate. I was a poser in high school. You got me. Okay. Your boy fucking with fake skater. Okay.
Hung out on a mini ramp. Never skated it though.
Oh, I was on that ramp though. We already talked about that one time. We're not going to talk about that again. A little half pipe story for you. And then pirate, I know, I'm just not a.
Do you remember where pirate, like this is like maybe 15 years ago, 20 years ago, maybe, like pirates like were like a big thing. Like I remember like girls like latching onto this like pirate culture thing.
Yeah, fucking Johnny Depp, dude.
Yeah, I get that could be that. But I just remember thinking like that's kind of corny. Like
I'm not a pirate guy. Yeah. I'm not like boats kind of freak me out. Big bodies of water kind of freak me out a little bit low key. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I'm not a great swimmer. I'm a freestyle drowner. And so I kind of like just like, like I'm not like big bodies of water. I can't see the land. I've seen like these things with big swells and like the movie The Perfect Storm and shit. Like, nah, I'm not good, dude. A long time away from like a shower, a long time away from like, you're just keeping it hairy. You know what I'm saying? Like not into it, dude. So I'd say ninja. Cause your boy grew up Ninja Turtle fan. Was a Donatello fan, the start. Because I never liked anybody who's like Leonardo ever, that little suck up. And Michelangelo was too immature for me. So I was I didn't like Michelangelo either.
Yeah.
And no one liked Raphael, but as I'm an adult, he was the coolest one, dude.
Just kind of
doesn't give a dick, doesn't give a shit. Is just trying to clap fucking April O'Neil. That's the guy, dude. That's who we all, Raphael was the best one. So ninja. Long story long, ninja.
Roscoe _427. Why do nogi guys paint their nails?
Fucking know, dude.
You got to ask a nogi guy, man. Don't know.
I don't know, dude. I don't know.
I like nogi, not that much.
It's just the culture. I think it's the team, it's that one team. It's that one team, dude. I don't fucking know, dude. I don't know.
Judah Jedi, have you ever had a favorite move and then lost it? If you see Uchimata lying around, holler at me.
The reason Uchimata doesn't work anymore, Mario, is because you're giving your back, dude. And high level knows that you like to throw the Uchimata, and we're fucking waiting for you to do it. But, like I said, you need to level. Don't lose what you love, because you just need to level up your money moves. I think I did a video on my YouTube. If you're good at scissor sweep, and then all of a sudden you become like a blue belt and you can't scissor sweep nobody anymore because they know the setup for the scissor sweep. You just have to disguise it more. So maybe that's more for the Uchi. Maybe that's just more like fake foot sweeps. Get him like that judo flow guy. Like he does a lot of crazy stuff where like he's like, and then all of a sudden they're Uchi. He Uchi's everybody just because the setup, the feint. You're not gonna left hook a good boxer if you're just trying to left hook him every punch. You got to hide it behind a jab. You got to hide it. You got to feint. You know what I mean? And then you can hit your left hook. So like setups is very important for leveling up your money moves. And you're not going to get it the basic way. Just like you're not going to hit the traditional armbar from guard by putting your foot on their hip. But somebody who knows that the armbar is coming when they feel that, because that's a tell. So you got to hide your tells to set up your moves.
I don't know. I guess I haven't lost a money move yet. I used to really like close guard, like in early white belt days. Mm-hmm. And not necessarily because I could do anything from it. I could just keep people in my close guard. And now I almost like, I don't want to ever close my guard. The idea of me like crossing my ankles around someone's waist, I don't want to do it. So
there's not a lot to do from close guard.
No.
You have to open your guard to attack the arms, to attack the necks with your legs. I mean, there's gi chokes, and maybe you can come up and sit up and you maybe get to like 100% sweep, but you're not going to, no, you have to open. You have to open your guard if you want to have an effective game off your back.
Yeah. That's it for
You're
questions,
evolving.
brother.
You're evolving, Kenny. You're evolving. Are you thinking what I'm thinking, Kenny?
Aim for the bushes, brother.
Aim for the bushes. My name is Matt, 41 years old, at O's Nation BJJ. This is Kenny at Freak Party BJJ. We're old, we're great, we're coming everywhere. And just follow us on all our socials. Follow us on the Discord. Follow us on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram. We're getting close. We want 7K by December. Let's make that happen. Appreciate you all. Thanks in advance for all the birthday love, all the DMs, all that good stuff. You guys are great. Shout out to Kenny. Thanks for Kenny. Shout out for him for always having my back and always helping me with my edits and helping me with technology because I'm an idiot. 40 was a great year, and I owe a lot of that to the success of this podcast, to my friends who helped me with the podcast, to my partner here, and to everybody who supports us. So much love. Appreciate you all. Have a good week. Train hard. Stay off the cuck wall. Os.